Hello everyone. I would like to share my experience. In using Quixi, a no-code platform. So before that, I would like to set the context. So for the last few years, a lot of organizations have undertaken digital transformation journeys and had to accelerate that in the past 6 months, primarily due to COVID and its after effects. So what I'll be doing is in the next few slides, I will be sharing my experience in using Quixi as part of our digital transformation journey, and also, see where these no-code platforms fit in the overall digital transformation framework. I will also be sharing how we leveraged Quixi's capabilities to automate and digitalize various processes, and the approach we had taken to decentralize the app development aspect. This is very much required so as to bring in ownership and accountability from the process owners, which is usually very difficult. If you take a centralized or a top-down approach. So in this slide, we'd like to understand, how organizations and specifically manufacturing organizations uh, can utilize no-code platforms for accelerating their digital transformation efforts. So I will explain this in detail in the next slide. So there are two aspects I would like to touch upon here. The first is bringing in synergy and de-risking the chances of failure of a digital transformation initiative. So if you take a typical end-to-end digital operations transformation, it usually spans three areas, that is business enablement, productivity improvement, and customer experience enhancement. And when you look at the business enablement part, a lot of technologies are being adopted now, like distributed cloud, which has become commonplace, blockchain, and low-code application platforms. And when you move into the productivity improvement space of a digital transformation effort, now a lot of companies are adopting technologies like AI, and its subset like machine learning, deep learning, computer vision, edge AI, and other technologies like Bluetooth low energy devices, RFID tags, and robotic process automation. And if you look at the third area, that is customer experience enhancement, you have technologies like digital twins, virtual assistants, IoT platforms, and various visualization softwares like Power BI, uh, Tableau, etc. So, so a typical no-code platform usually traverses the first two areas very well. That is the business enablement part and the productivity improvement, because of the way it is designed. By design, it's a cloud-based technology, and it can very well integrate with the data that is coming in from various technologies like RFID tags, Bluetooth, low energy devices, and also you can store the different attributes. From the different applications that can be developed, you can store the attributes that are required to build a machine learning model, and also store the images which you can process through deep learning algorithms and build models on top of that. So that's how the synergy part is taken care when you are using a no-code application platform. And coming to the second aspect, uh, where we are talking about de-risking the chances of failure. Because of the power and flexibility, these platforms provide to the the end users feel empowered. This is what we have experienced. The end users feel empowered that now they have a tool which they can use to make their work easy and their life simpler. And once you have that sort of buy-in at the ground level, it becomes very easy to ensure the success of the initiatives. So combining, putting these two things together, a no-code platform will act as a catalyst for an organization to accelerate the digital transformation process. Now, having talked about that, let us try to understand where do these no-code platforms typically fit in the digital transformation framework. So this in this slide, what you see is the digital transformation framework that we have adopted at Nekanti Seafoods, and the dotted boxes you see here are where we are using Quixi in the framework. We are using it primarily for processes digitalization, activities digitization, and bringing in innovation. So the way we are looking at innovation is whichever areas, we could not cover through our traditional ERP software, But we feel, yes, if you implement these process changes, it will bring in a lot of impact. So those are the areas which we are trying to automate and digitalize through Quixi. And also because people are now able to uh, make these changes by themselves. I mean, we are bringing in the empowerment for the people at the ground level. So in the next couple of slides, what I will do is I will showcase how we have done activities digitization and processes digitalization using Quixi. So, so in this slide, the first process flow, which you see is the high level manufacturing process that we follow. I will explain this very briefly. We have the raw materials receipt. Once the materials have been received, they undergo a form conversion, after which they are graded. And once the grading has been completed, we do a lot of value addition on the material based upon our customer requirements. And then it is sent to freezing, followed by packing and storage. Now, the process I want to talk about here where we digitalized this is the in-house value addition, which is shown in the next process flow. This also I will explain in brief. So we have the graded material that comes from the grading stage, which undergoes a lot of manual processing. And once the manual processing has been completed, the material needs to be weighed. So the material has to, I mean, so there's a lot of queuing up of work. And this, what we have observed through our studies is that there's a lot of productivity drop, efficiency issues, a lot of time wastage that is happening. And once the queuing is done, the material is sent to freezing. And then at the end of the shift or at the end of the day, we need to reconcile the material. I mean, the floor supervisors need to reconcile whether the material they have sent from value addition to the next stage is matching or not. So now you can understand, I mean, with this sort of a process and the lot of the sort of challenges we have are listed here. I mean, it was primarily paper based and usually highly error prone, and because the data is getting captured in these different steps of the process, it led to data silos proliferation. And once you have data silos proliferation, it becomes very difficult to pinpoint where a mistake has happened, and and to rectify it is even more difficult. And once you have these sort of issues creeping in, it automatically obliterates the source of truth. And without a single source of truth, it becomes very difficult to measure the performance and thereby manage the resources. So what we were looking at here at this point of time is we wanted to have a tool, I mean, through which we can automate the workflows and also rapidly develop applications which we could deploy across our locations and with no need for IT infrastructure. So that's where we turned to Quixi. And what we had done here is we had combined the physical process changes that we wanted to implement with various applications that were developed in Quixi. And that resulted into significant productivity improvement, time savings, and several intangible benefits that we had experienced. So, I mean, the productivity improvement was to the tune of about 15%, and time savings, I mean, we had seen about 50-60% reduction in the time that is taken to develop these applications. So that helped us a lot. And what you see in the table here, on the left-hand side, the first column is showing the various types of applications that we developed and who they were developed by. So these were basically our citizen developers. And the third column shows you the timelines that was, I mean, that were required to roll out these applications. So that is from requirements gathering to rollout. And the last column of the table is showing you the earlier method, that is, which got to these applications. So overall, this particular process which we are talking about took us about 4 weeks to digitalize. And if you add about 2 weeks of testing on top of that, so in about 6 weeks, we were up and running in one location. And since it was already proven, I mean, once we implemented it at the floor level, we saw the results showing up in no time. And we rapidly deployed it across locations of ours in a matter of a week or two. And when you have a tool like this, I mean, which is very powerful and very flexible, it brings with it its own set of challenges. I mean, the foremost is the governance related challenges, like what John was talking earlier. So here, I mean, like what John was telling, you need to identify that Brenda. So Brenda is your champion resource. So who will anchor the entire development process, the application development, and who will also own the governance process so that they can administer the applications development in the organization. So in our experience, I mean, the first 2 points, that is identification of the champion resource and putting in place the governance process and structure, is of utmost importance. Unless and until these two things are not sorted out, and if any organization embarks on the no-code platform journey, without these two things sorted out, it will lead to an explosion of applications, because in no time you will have citizen developers and process owners developing applications left, right, and center, and your workspace will be filled with hundreds of applications. And once this situation happens, it will automatically lead to data security issues. So you don't, I mean, which application is bringing in data into which data table, and which data table is getting manipulated by which application. So it will lead to a nightmare sort of a situation. So given this experience, what I have done in the next slide is I'm sharing the governance structure that we have put in place at Nikanti Seafoods for the benefit of others. So the key takeaway for us, I mean, over the last 6 to 8 months that we have been using Quixy, is that you need to break it into 2-month cycles. I mean, that's what we have seen. You take 2-month timelines where you identify 3 to 4 high impact process changes that you want to bring about, and take all these 3 to 4 high impact process changes through the entire life cycle of requirements gathering, design, testing, rollout, and usage, so that the intensity is maintained and the user level interest is generated. And once these are rolled out for usage, you can actually realize the benefits in a quicker manner. And I have also mentioned here the roles and responsibilities of the various stakeholders who are part of this governance process and structure, so that it can act as a starting point for other organizations who want to start this no-code application development journey. So with that, I will move on to the next slide, where I will show you a couple of screenshots from our workspace at Nikanti Seafoods. So this is your dashboard where you can see the number of applications that have been developed, number of active users, number of data tables that are being used, and the number of reports. So this is your dashboard screen. And I will also showcase one application, the in-house edition application that I was talking about earlier. So this is the data entry screen, which is the UI for the users. So where they capture all the details. So, I mean, it is very easy to develop. I mean, that's what we have seen. And you can have it up and running in a day or two. I mean, if you have the right resources dedicated to it. And this is one more application, I mean, which we have developed for attendance marking for the people on the shop floor level. Yeah. And I think that's it from my end.